Okay, so I have a little bit of a problem. And that problem has to do with lenses, and specifically the lack of a wide lens selection for the EFM system. And because of that lack of a lens selection, we have to turn to adapters like the EF to EFM adapter. But that adapter is $200, and I would like to try something maybe a little less spendy in order to adapt all of my EF lenses over to my EOS M system. But that's kind of my dilemma now, because I'm not like most people in that I switched from Canon DSLR to Canon mirrorless. I switched straight from a Nikon to the EOS M, and so I don't even have a Canon EF lens. So that's what this video is for, because I have been putting off getting EF lenses because I didn't have the EF to EFM adapter. And I've been putting off getting the EF to EFM adapter because I didn't have lenses. But that problem recently has actually been solved for me. Crowley contacted me and asked me if I wanted to review the EF to EFM adapter. It'll be linked into the description. So now I'm going to get an EF lens so I can actually review it and try it out like they asked. There's what I'm talking, right there. Now let's see if we can find someone to get it out for me. Could I get the M50?
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I bought it. I think the autofocus may be a little more jumpy than my EFL lenses, but I'm not really sure yet, so I want to go and test this more in depth. This is a much better place than a half-empty parking lot. So let's really put this adapter to the test. Okay, so I really enjoyed using that actually. It worked really well with the 51.8. All of that was shot at 1.8 aperture, so that really tested the autofocus and whether the autofocus communication really was working well. Now, an interesting thing about it is that I actually used the digital image stabilizer on the Canon M50, and this was actually the first time where I thought that I actually got usable results out of that. Now, it's actually pretty hot out here, so let's go back to the studio and talk about this a little more in depth. Now, of course, the best part about this adapter is that you can actually adapt lenses over, so your EOS M lens selection is no longer 5 lenses, but 500, or I think they actually have more than that. In case you don't know, the difference between mirrorless and DSLRs is that mirrorless, of course, don't have a mirror. On DSLRs, you have that section for the mirror to fit in, and it actually makes it so that the lens has to be farther away from the sensor. So in order to use those DSLR lenses on a mirrorless camera, you basically have to get something to take up the distance between the sensor and the back of the lens. So you take the adapter and you just snap it on like you would a lens, and then you take the lens and you just snap it onto the adapter, and there you go. It does bulk up the setup and is not the ideal thing for a mirrorless system, but it's not that bad when you're using smaller lenses like the 51.8. This specific adapter I was actually very impressed with. The autofocus, I know I was saying that it looked like it was a bit jumpy, but I'm sure that only had to do with the display lens that I was using to test it out in the store before I bought one. Because when I got out to the Arboretum, the autofocus just worked beautiful. It was just perfect focus pulls, and that was at f1.8, and it still just worked so well. Like I mentioned about the digital IS, is that when I used it on my manual Nikon 51.8, it just looked so jittery, it was ridiculous. But then when I tried it on this lens, it actually worked, and Carmite actually advertises that this works with the image stabilizer, and so I was actually really impressed since I had never gotten any usable results with the digital IS, but probably about half of the B-roll that I filmed with the digital image stabilizer on, and it really worked well. It really compensated for the shake a lot better than I was expecting it to. Of course, this adapter has the electronic communication since EF lenses are electronically controlled. That works really well, seamless. It worked just like a native lens. So if you're trying to expand out of the tiny selection of EFM lenses, then I'd go ahead and pick up this adapter. It works excellent, and it's like a fifth of the cost of the Canon adapter. Its build quality is great. It's all aluminum with steel mounts. The only plastic on it is the inside to kind of give it a matte finish. This is just going to be such an excellent asset, and my kit now is really looking good. With a 35mm equivalent and 85mm equivalent, and then a 24-70, I don't really see how you can go wrong with that setup for this EOS M, and I am really excited about the content coming out in the future. Check our affiliates links down at the bottom, and if you're ordering anything that we talk about in any of our videos, please go ahead and order from those links, and it helps support this channel a little bit. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.